and welcome back to the Pretty Extreme podcast, episode number 27. I had to do a little bit of research and digging before I even decided to record this episode because I didn't record an episode since February. It's now May, and I'm excited to know that I still have this podcast and one person listens to it. So whoever that one person is, thank you so much for listening in the past 30 days, which is probably why I don't even record this podcast. You know, I mean, probably if I had guests, it'd be a little bit more entertaining, right? I'd have a little bit more listeners. But yeah, I decided today not to have a guest. You know, it's May. What day is it here? It's May 4th. May the 4th be with you. Anybody who's a Star Wars fan or religious, I guess, it's going to and also with you. But I'm not very religious. I mean, I was baptized Catholic. So may the 4th be with everyone today. And thank you for tuning in to the Pretty Extreme podcast. I am PX Floral, your regular hostess with the mostest. And to anyone who is listening, to any new listeners, thank you for listening, because this Pretty Extreme podcast typically has guests. But today we're going to just update you on my Pretty Extreme life. And, you know, to the one listener, I don't know if this is the same person a year ago. This shout out to Deadyless. I think that's the name of the person. They listened to one of the episodes, and I think the episode was "I'm Here for You." And they said, so you began your lies frequent showering habit during the pandemic and decided to continue it for how long? The rest of your life? Is returning your body to a more natural state part of your goal? What is a natural state? You know what I mean? Like, I don't even know, like, what's normal anymore. I don't know what I'm planning to do as far as putting my body back in a natural state. However, I did go, I'm California sober is what people call it. And then I quit cold turkey for 4 days, and then I took a drag today out of a joint because I was like, you know what, let me see, like, what am I really missing out on? And, you know, it's not much. So I'm back to being sober. I mean, that was like a couple hours ago. So I'm back to being sober. And, you know, I kind of like it. I kind of like it because to me, it's self-control. I feel like I'm in a place where I am trying to focus on myself mentally and spiritually. And I'm sure a lot of you guys are wondering, like, what the hell is going on with you right now? And not much. I like doing nothing. And for some people, they're like, what do you mean you don't like doing anything? Like, don't you like go out, you know, and like do shows? And like, yeah, I go out. Yeah, I do shows. As much as I look like I am enjoying my time, majority of the times I'm just like tolerating it. I know my friends and my family members who don't listen to this podcast, they're gonna be like, what? And I'd be like, yeah. But I realize that I was diagnosed with severe depression and anxiety. So, and I've had severe depression and anxiety for, let's see, since I've been diagnosed, which was when I was 25. I'm now 40. So 15 years ago. But I know I've been dealing with depression and anxiety prior to that. And so, actually, no, not 25. I was a little bit older. I think I was like 27. Still about 15, right? 13, 12 years ago, whatever. I'm not really trying to do the math. I'm not that kind of Asian. But I also realized I'm not that kind of Filipino. Like, I mean, I love being Filipino, but I feel like the culture's never really embraced me being Filipino because, one, I don't look like one. Two, I don't act like one. And like, three, I don't sound like one. I can't even sing like one. As much as I love being Filipino, I wish I was accepted more by the community or the society, the Filipino society. You know, I would have to say, since I could remember, Filipinos were constantly telling me, like, no, you're not Filipino. So it's like, as I grow up, right, I realize, like, I kind of am, but not really, you know. I don't look Filipino. And I'm okay with that. I love who I am. I'm in a place where I'm proud of where I'm going. I'm not going to say that I'm proud of where I'm at right now because I am still unemployed. I'm looking for work and I'm also on disability. And after working for 26, 27 years of my life, I realize that I don't want to work. Like, I'm sure that goes for a lot of people. I mean, to me, it's pretty extreme, right? It's like I worked for 27 years of my life and I finally took a year off, like a full, and it wasn't even a full year. I started, well, actually, it's a full year, but being able to enjoy it was less than a year because what goes along with being laid off, depression, like trying to deal and manage finances, raising children, it's pretty extreme, and I was, I don't want to say I hit rock bottom or I was in a dark place. I just knew mentally I needed to get things going on a track that fits my pace, if that makes sense. Um, I don't know. I don't know what's going to happen in the next 30 days. All I know is that after doing therapy, I've been doing group therapy with Kaiser. They, because I have severe depression and anxiety, they asked me if I wanted to do an intensive outpatient program, right? Like I got when I scheduled it, I was kind of worried. I was like, "Oh my gosh, are they going to admit me?" But it's outpatient, so then I was like, "Oh no, it should be good." But then I was worried. I thought like they might be like, "This bitch is crazy. Let's keep her in here," but they didn't. And I'm very appreciative. I was very skeptical doing group. I didn't really want to do. I barely even like to do Zoom meetings, like when I was working. So let alone doing group with a bunch of strangers. It's kind of like I've never been to AA or NA, but I've assumed it's something similar, right? People are talking about their experiences, their stories, but yeah, I'm glad I did it. I finished a week and I'm at a place where I've realized I've heard it before, but it's weird when you're hearing it in person. And in person, when you speak to different therapists who are teaching the program, or when you're listening to different therapists teaching the program, they're teaching you that it's okay to not be okay. So if there's anybody listening to this, it's okay to not be okay. What matters is how you cope, how you go on your journey, right? To get to being okay, to get to being happy. And that's really what it comes down to. I just want to be happy, and I would have to say that the past year, I've actually been happy. You think I would be, I've had depression and anxiety episodes, but majority of the time, I'm happy. And I've been doing therapy through another program. I've been doing therapy probably for about, since I was diagnosed. So I would say past 13, 14, maybe 12 years. And therapy has definitely got me through a lot. I would have to say it was my therapist who actually encouraged me to do stand-up comedy. He actually knew one of the famous comedians. I would like to say he's famous because I know him. So shout out to Sammy Obeid. His son is actually a friend of Sammy Obeid. And when I was doing therapy, he was like, at the time I was on my second marriage and I was going through some mental breakdowns. And I feel like a lot of women go through postpartum, but they don't know it and they're not diagnosed, right? Because they just pummel through it. And I feel like that's what I felt like. I was going through some type of postpartum. And then they also told me I had PTSD, which makes sense because I've gone through some traumatic things when I was younger. I've never really shared it to my family members. Maybe a couple of them. But not a lot of people know what's going on behind closed doors or what has gone on in someone's past without actually taking the time to talk to them. So because of the trauma in my upbringing, there's a lot of baggage there, and I'm proud to say that I am where I'm at now because of everything that has happened, and I'm taking it day by day, and it's not easy. I'm so used to planning ahead and trying to schedule things, and there are weeks where I'm just completely busy, months that I'm just completely busy all month, and I get a couple of days in the month where I'm taking a break. And when I mean a break, I mean doing absolutely nothing, which I enjoy. Like, I just spent maybe like 4 hours watching horror stuff. There's this show on Hulu called Bite Size Horror, or Bite Size. Yeah, I think it's called Bite Size Horror. It's on Hulu, and they're like little mini horror stories. And one of the last episode I was just watching, it had Filipino actors and actresses in it, and it was about an urban legend in the Philippines, and it was cool because I felt like I was connected to that culture, and in some ways I kind of feel like I'm like them because most of the actors and actresses in the Philippines, they're like mixed. I'm not mixed. I'm full Filipino, but I don't look Filipino. How does that happen? When I tell people I'm born in Japan, I typically get this response. That's why you look like that. Like, just because I was born in Japan, I look Japanese, I look Korean. I don't think I look like either of those cultures. I don't even think I look Filipino. I don't know what I look like. So I've always felt lost growing up because I didn't feel like I fit in anywhere until I started doing comedy. And comedy doesn't pay a lot right now because, it's like freelancing. A lot of people are like, oh my gosh, you're on KTVU. Shout out to KTVU, Channel 2. Fox, I was on there last year, or was it earlier this year? I feel like maybe it was last year. I was on there, and I was so proud to be on the show. So if you want to watch it, it's the Like It or Love It. I'm on there, PX Floro. Check it out. And it was an honor to be on the show. And, I didn't get paid to do it, but I enjoyed it because it was marketing myself as a comedian, and my stories and my jokes are based on my life. And I feel like it's hard for anyone to mimic, my life when I'm making these jokes, right? So, if you're ever interested in checking out my comedy, feel free, pxcomedy.org. You can get free tickets, or you can check out any of the shows that I'm doing. Once I start back to work, those things are going to start disappearing, I feel like. And it sucks because I enjoy doing comedy and I wish I got paid more doing it so I can just do that, be a full-time comedian. But unfortunately, because I live in Silicon Valley, I have a mortgage, I have children, I have to go back to work. And it's unfortunate because I know a lot of people stop or pause their dreams and their ambitions to, work. I feel like we work our whole lives, for our bills, to provide for our family. And I love what I do. So knowing that I have to go back to work, I start to get that depression and anxiety because I want to be doing comedy full time. And you're probably wondering, what kind of line of work are you doing? I think I've mentioned it previously in other episodes, but I was in the credit union world, which is similar to banking. People call it banking. And, a lot has happened in 60 days or 90 days, right? Because the last episode was recorded February 1st. Oh, wait, you know what? Let me get back to Daedalus. I answered your last question, the rest of your life, so you began your frequent showering. You began your lies frequent showering habit during the pandemic and decided to continue it for how long? I don't know. I got to listen to that episode again to answer that question. But I still have that habit. And then I found out that not taking showers was actually part of depression. Not wanting to do anything is part of depression, And how do I know I'm depressed? And why am I going through group therapy? Is because there were a lot of days where I would be thankful for everything that I've done, to thanking the Lord, the universe, for giving me a home, giving me a place that I can call my home, And then after that, I'd be like, if you want to take me away in my sleep, now is the time. And I feel like it's not, I feel like I have a purpose in life. I'm here to share my story. And if you think that way, that is definitely a sign of depression, Like the world would be better off without, which is not true. I feel like I have a purpose and I haven't fully executed that purpose. So I'm hoping if there's anyone dealing with depression and anxiety and you're listening to this, you're not alone. I'm proud of where I'm at, but it sucks because there's just so much things going on in my life and things that I've been through, and it's pretty extreme. I mean, my third marriage ended in domestic violence and infidelity, and it was heartbreaking. It's heartbreaking because I know that my third ex-husband does not want to divorce me. He does not want to finish this divorce. I filed for divorce in 2022. It's 2024, and I'm still married to him. And because I lost my job, I ended up not being able to pay my bills, which sucks because, you think that people will want to work with you, but they don't. And that's what we educate people in the financial industry. Reach out to your lenders, the people you owe money to, because maybe they might want to work with you. And they didn't. They didn't want to work with me. And it's unfortunate because they all also tried to sue me at the same time. Like they wanted me to pay them more money with no money, right? I'm on disability. I'm on a mental health emergency. And because I'm not able to pay these bills and because they decided to sue me at the same time, I ended up filing for bankruptcy. So at the age of 41, I filed for bankruptcy, and it's not my first rodeo. So I've been divorced 3 times. I might be bankrupt 3 times. The goal is not to do that. I mean, I didn't want to get divorced 3 times, right? I didn't want to file bankruptcy 2 times, but here I am. And I feel like a lot of rich people do that. They get divorced, they file bankruptcy because they can't pay. There's a lot of entertainers that follow in that path, except me. I am not in the entertainment world fully. I'm partially in there because I don't make my living doing comedy. I make my living right now on disability, and now I will have to make my living working, going back to the 9 to 5, 8-hour shifts, definitely probably overtime, and I'm panicking. I'm panicking slowly. And I'm at the point in my life where I just got to keep going. I just got to keep going. The rest of my life, I don't know. I don't know when. Tomorrow's never promised. Daedalus, I don't know if you're the one person that's listening, and I don't know what else he meant through these questions. But no, I'm trying to change, the rest of my life. I don't know when my life will end, but I know that I'm just doing my best, and going through the group therapy helped me. I'm taking more showers. I'm getting up. I'm changing habits. I went to the library. I haven't been to the library in years. The last time I went to the library is when I took my kids. And then I went to the library by myself, and, I was just wandering through the library, like looking at people, looking at different books. And there was a book that I wanted to read. It was called The Haunting of Alejandra. And when I looked in the, what is it called? The categories, I guess, or like the before they used to have little cards. It's like little drawers where you pull out cards to find out the book you wanted to read. But now they have computers for that. And I was searching for like a good horror book, and that was one of the ones that popped up. And the weird part was it said the book was there, but when I talked to the librarian, the book wasn't there, and he's like, it's probably you're wandering around here. So I ended up not borrowing the book. I think I'm going to try to download it because it's available in ebooks. But I'm just kind of like coasting it right now. And people ask me like, how are you doing? And I'm like, great. I'm actually doing great. I'm not losing my mind yet, but there are moments when I do. And it's challenging. And what keeps me going is my kids, my self-love. I love myself so much. And I realize that being in a relationship doesn't have to be like that. Like I have friendships, which are also relationships. And those friendships is what's kept me going. Like shout out to those handful of girls that have constantly listened to me and heard me out and reached out to me. Like if it weren't for them, I don't know what I would do. So I'm thankful that I have my close-knit friends that I can always count on. The weird part is they all don't know each other. They all don't associate themselves with each other. So when I have a birthday, I kind of like to bring them together, but I hate celebrating my birthday. Yeah, it's May 4th. My birthday had just passed, April 17th. I turned 41. And a couple nights ago, I have insomnia too. I have insomnia. So one of the nights that I couldn't sleep, I was going through some video journals that I made for myself. And when I first did the video journals, it was like just a journal, like day one. This is what I'm going through. This is how I'm feeling. And this is what I want to happen. And as the videos progressed, and then I ended up getting married a third time, the videos changed to like I was talking to myself in the future. I was saying, hey, PX, snap out of it. You're doing great. And guess what? There's a light at the end of the tunnel, and I feel like I'm in the tunnel and I see the light, and not that kind of light where I'm going to die, but it's more like the success that I've been working for is almost there, right there at the tip of my fingers. Don't say tip. And I'm not going to give up. I can't give up. I don't want to give up. I want to keep building a comedy community. I want to keep building relationships with people who are going through the same thing that I'm going through, And I'm excited. I'm excited to see the journey ahead of me. But I think the anxiety comes in when it's like, I don't know what's going to happen. But no one knows what's going to happen. No one knows, And it's tough. It's tough because I just don't know what to do sometimes. And if you know me and you're listening to this, I don't think anyone would have any idea that I'm going through these things, But a lot of my jokes are about trauma, and I'm excited because I enjoy people laughing at my trauma because I can look back at it and laugh about it, And I know I'm not the only one going through what I'm going through. I know that. How do I know that? People tell me, and I'm hoping that this episode will shed some light on what I'm going through, to the one person who listens to this episode. I don't know who's listening. And if you are listening, no matter what platform it is, please hit the Q&A, ask me some questions. I'll respond. I know it took me a year to respond to Daedalus, but I know I responded maybe once in an episode prior or a different episode. I want to say maybe even Your Worst Neighbors. So shout out to Your Worst Neighbors with Jorge Sanchez and Sam Schmidt as our sound producer. Be sure to check that podcast out. It's a lot more entertaining and a lot less depressing than the Pretty Xtreme podcast. And Pretty Extreme, you're probably thinking, oh, it's comedy. No, it's not comedy. It's just me talking and interviewing people, comics. I want to express that this episode is dedicated to mental health awareness. It's Mental Health Awareness Month in May, and it's also AAPI, which is the Asian American Pacific Islander, I think, month. And there's no better way than put those two things together, because I believe in Asian cultures that they don't believe in mental health, right? And it's not because Asians are bad people. No, that's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is, like, our culture, right? The generations prior to us didn't know what mental health is. They didn't believe in mental health. And I'm here to share that with the world, that it is out there. Mental health is real. And we need to, just like we do annual physicals, right? For our physical health, I think people should go through an annual mental health, consultation or whatever, because it is important. There is 100% an epidemic on mental health. There's also an epidemic on women abuse. I know a lot of women that have gone through mental and physical abuse, and I'm slowly starting to find out from men who deal with mental and physical abuse by women, by men, so whether you're a man or a woman, this shit's happening, and I want you to know that I'm here for you. Just like that episode that Dedilus said, did a question and answer for, I am here. I'm not going anywhere. And I have told my handful of friends that if anything were to happen to me, whichever friend gets to my phone first, they will need to post everything on my phone, which is not much. I mean, who knows? A couple screenshots that are probably be like, what? But other than that, whoever gets to me the quickest, they'll be able to share whatever it is that I have on there. And I also do this thing where I record, like, I call some of my friends and I leave if they don't answer, I'll leave a voicemail and be like, hey, just wanted to give you a call, and I'm thinking about you, and I want you to play this at my funeral. And then I'll say like a quick statement or a joke, or just something that I would really want people to play at my funeral. And I really hope my friends stick to this. A lot of people don't even listen to voicemails anymore, so I feel like one person or two people are even going to know to play it. And when I die, I want people to celebrate my life. I don't want people to be crying. I want people to be happy, just like me. I'm being happy right now. And I'm probably the worst person to talk to when it comes to processing death, because I feel like I tend to be pretty extreme with my emotions, meaning like I'm emotionless sometimes. Like, I just don't know how to process it, because it's like life goes on, and we've lost so many people through these years, right? So many people, and we want to remember them, and the best way to remember them is by talking about them, talking about things that we need to talk about, because I'm so tired of people saying, oh, we shouldn't be talking about that, or you shouldn't be talking about that. No, we need to talk about it. We need to talk about it. It's important. Okay. We need to let people know that mental health is real. And I'm proud to say that, I'm still here. I'm happy to be here. I want to be here. And I want everyone to express how they feel. I want people to not judge people. I want to see people with more compassion. I want to see more love. I love you. Whoever's listening to this, I fucking love you. Because I'm not even going to listen to this. I wish I could do this in video, but not really, because I look like crap. But, I'm hoping that this episode gets to somebody. And to whoever it gets to, I'm here for you. I love you. And let's have a wonderful life.